Hello, my name is Doris and I am Little Bird Products. If you haven't been here before, thank you for joining me. And if you have been here, thank you for returning. I wanted to do just a short video today to kind of set up what I am going to be working on for the week. Let me turn you around here a minute and show you something. This week I'm going to move on and be working on jackets, specifically these two jackets here. And then I really love this one. And then turn you around here. And this one is not a jacket, it's a vest. But I am going to make it into something else because I have got this pinned up on it. It was a LuLaRoe shirt and I really liked it. And I'm going to be opening up the back, making it bigger, filling it in with that too. So I'm going to be working on that. That's a little easier project than the jackets. And like I said, these jackets, they take a little more for me to be doing. And what I'm going to be showing you is this print on fabric project that I have. And these right here, I just printed myself on my printer. And I have some from before here with little embroidered doilies that I have. Look how cute those are. And then there's some more. And I try to pair them up. And see this whole stack? I'll go through a few of these with you in a minute. I get a better camera angle here. I'm going to turn you around. And if you've never printed on fabric before, there's quite a few, well, there used to be quite a few YouTubers out there that talk a little more about it. But what I use are these fabric sheets. And I will link this, put a link to these printable ones. I've had these for a while. Where they print on fabric. They're called printable fabric sheets. I'll put a link, an Amazon link, and where you can purchase these yourself. Now, one of the things you need to have is you need to have an inkjet printer. You can't use a laser jet because of the way it lays down the ink, but most of us, when you have a home printer, you have an inkjet. They do take quite a bit of colored ink, which can be pricey. Now, if you don't want to mess with printing these yourself, there's quite a few people on Etsy and on eBay that actually do the printing of different prints, and you can usually find something that you like there, and you can purchase them yourself. Now, these come with instructions. It's pretty simple. The process that I use is that I find my images where they're royalty free. You know, now a lot of the free to qualify stuff is now in the public domain, so you can use it. So I purchased, well, didn't purchase, I downloaded it, got this photograph for free, and then I printed this myself on these printable fabric sheets. And then what you do is, I'll show you another one I printed. I like this one too. It's a little different orientation. I think that's so beautiful. So those are drying now. And I also printed these. I printed this one with the butterfly and the flower. That still has attached to it the paper backing. It's kind of shiny, so you print on that side. And then this should peel off. It peels off really easy. And then you rinse it in distilled water just to make sure that if there's any excess ink, it comes off. And that takes about 10 minutes. And then you lay it on a towel and you pat it dry with some paper towels. And then you lay it flat so that it can dry flat. Speaking of flat, I better lay Frida down there, make sure she's flat. I printed this one. I love it. It's a peacock, if you can't tell. This one is one of my favorites too. This one I'm going to have a special denim jacket probably for it because it's printed horizontally. And I am in love with Frida. There's another Frida. And then I did two of that one because I do a lot of pinks and oranges, you know, so I think that'll be pretty. And what I'm going to do with these is I put them on the back of jackets when I'm upcycling. And then I take things like, I have lots of bags of little crocheted and lace trim I have some more trim here I'll show you. It's particularly pretty, I think. It's kind of shiny. Has little flowers on it. I mean, I have more ribbon, lace, and trims. This is just a tiny sample. I have those little soft-sided cubbies. I probably have 6 to 10 of them, just full of that, and trims and stuff. And I share them with my friends because I've collected them over the years, and I'm more than happy to share what I have. So after I print those pieces on the print-on fabric, then what I do, like here's a smaller one, this is another example. Let me show you how easy this is. Now I'll say that easy it is to get this paper backing off. See that paper backing? Just peel it right off. Now what I'll do with this, I am going to put it back on there because I'm not going to use this right away. That keeps them flat when I store them. Then what I'll do is I'll rinse it just to make sure it doesn't have excess ink. When it dries, I like to heat set everything that's been printed or painted on. So I'll turn it upside down, and I usually put them on a sheet of parchment paper, and then I put my iron, a dry iron, on the back side of it, and I just press lightly on it, and I like to think that sets the ink. Now I've made some patches that I've done on my own jeans and pants and things, and they've been through lots of washes. Now the picture stays nice, and it just kind of softens with age, you know, and at least that's what it did on my pants and on all the ones that I've printed, and I think it's beautiful. It's just really, I think, a pretty touch. And then, you know, it is shabby chic, and you know, you have to like that style, which I do, and a lot of my stuff is like that. I don't always put lace and pictures on things, but I do like doing that. Some of these jackets, if they're pretty busy, I probably won't do as much of this. I do it more on denim jackets that are plain and they need some spicing up with what I do. These other jackets that I'm going to work on this week, unless I have just the right piece, I may not put this material on that. But today, for some reason, I just did not feel like sewing. That's usually when I design things. I put things together, I think about what my goal is for the week, how I'm going to split it up and accomplish it. And I think I told you last week in my short on Wednesday, that's my check-in for how I'm doing. I am going to have to sew like mad tomorrow to make up for not sewing today, but you know, that's all right. Some weeks, you know, I'm really enthusiastic and I get a lot done, a lot accomplished, but hey, I'm retired. This is my retirement business, and I'm my own boss, and I can kick myself in the butt, or I can take a nap if I want to. But I thought I would share this with you because it is really it's kind of a fun thing to do. I do like my fairies and my little mermaids, and I like to put them, I'll cut it down a little bit, and I like to stitch them inside of these little lace doilies, crocheted doilies. I mean, you know, a lot of us have these around. This one is one of my favorites. And see how the colors kind of go together? So I'll cut around it a little bit, applique it, sew it on here. And then, you know, I can make this a patch here. I can make it a patch on the side of my jeans. I can make it a pocket. You know, I love doing that, and it makes what you're making very, very unique and very special. In fact, I've got one here. I just noticed that one jacket, well, I'm working with a red themed jackets this week. I'm going to cut this out and put it on here because this has some embroidery on it. Isn't that pretty? And then this would fit on any one of these jackets that I've got. So I'm going to probably use that on one of them. And I just think it makes things so unique and special. Now, I do have quite a few of these, and so I think I'll just kind of show you briefly some of the ones that I have. Like I said, I did get them from other people. I love this one. Isn't that cute? And this one is so sweet. This one I really like for a woman's. Isn't that beautiful? And I do have this doily that I'm probably going to applique that on. And for those that you have cats, you'll love this little kitty one. Let me show you a couple more that I have. Oh, this one is so soft and romantic. Isn't that beautiful? Can you tell I just really love my pictures? And I love working with them. They're just special, you know, I think. And then I have these two. And of course, I'm a fan of purple, so I love purple. And then I have to have one. You can't quite see this until you get close. The puppies. They're so cute. And then I do have a couple that are more that colorway, but they're fairies. And these really lend themselves to the lacy look. Hey, isn't that cute? And then this one is so romantic. I like that some of them are on white and some of them are off white background. This, I have two of the same because one of them was a gift from one of the ladies that I buy things from occasionally on eBay. And I like that when people, you know, are nice enough to give you things. And this, I just love these. One's upside down, one's right side up. But aren't those cute? And you can see, I think they're very romantic. And you'll see that in these. Aren't those soft, pretty? And you probably think, oh my gosh, how's she ever going to use all of these? Well, you know, I will over time. Have that. And this one is so cute. Look at that. So I have quite a few of them to work with. And it's fun just going through them and kind of looking at it and thinking about, oh, I can use this for that, and I can use that one for this, and then these flowered ones, the ones that are larger, you know, most of the ones that I have there are not great big, but this size, I don't make many with this orientation because that's a little different to fit in the back of a jacket. I have to make sure that it doesn't have a seam down the center or that it's a full back, and this would go in the center. And then I usually frame that with some lace or some crocheted ribbon or maybe some of both. I'm thinking that this would be really pretty because it's kind of soft colors. It is a Frida Kahlo piece of art, and I can trim all around it. So that'll make the back of that jacket super special. So I am going to use that for that. And then, like I said, these little bitty ones, they'll have a life of their own, and they'll be paired with some of these vintage crocheted linens, which I have quite a few of those. And I try to take special care of these things because, you know, when you purchase them, if you're going to purchase them from somebody, they can be a little pricey. So, you know, I don't want to ruin my investment. And I do keep them in, you know, a plastic bag, and I keep them with cardboard backing so that I can just pull this out and kind of get to it and sort through it and have a little fun in my life. That's the fun in my life when I go through these things. And it also gets me more enthusiastic about what I'm going to do. And I do love my jackets. And it is something where when I'm working on things, I really need to kind of get in the mood, in that frame of mind. And I am going to be moving into my jackets, which is kind of difficult for me to do when it's still so hot here in Texas. When it's 90 degrees, I have a very difficult time getting enthusiastic about making heavier wear, but you really need to keep ahead of the season when you're doing shows, because in 3 weeks I'll have my first show of the season, and then it's off and running. And all I'm really able to do during craft show season is just to keep up with my Etsy store and now my video recording, my shows, and trying to replenish things that sell, because I seldom run out of anything except my book pocket pillows. Sometimes I do run very low on those. And then I take custom orders for those from people, you know, if I don't happen to have the image that really suits them. And I do try to stay ahead of that because I usually sell, you know, anywhere from 5 to 30 book pocket pillows at each show. So we're getting into gifting season, so I'm going to be very busy. But today was my day of leisure and fun, which is fun to go through my laces and my pictures. So I hope you enjoy it. And if you have questions about, you know, printing on fabric and will your printer do it, You know, I can send you some links, you know, to some people who have done very good instructional videos. I'm happy to share what I know about doing it. And I'll also share pictures as I go along so you can see what I've done with my print on fabric pieces. And be looking for your images that you love out there. I love flowers, and I have some other cowboy things for rodeo and, you know, some of that kind of stuff. And, you know, it is fun. And it does make every piece that you do very individual and very individually yours. And they last. They just get better with time. Thank you. Enjoy. Bye.